Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. So, last time, I did hair. Today, I'm gonna do more hair. Because it never stops. Alright, well, before I get into that, I'm still just looking at things compositionally again, and I still do not like this branch. I feel like I need something up there, but no matter what I put there, I don't like the result for more than, like, you know, a day. So, I'm gonna go fiddle with that again, I guess, and I'll see what happens. Because I really do feel like something needs to be there. But what? And where? That is the mystery. Alright, well, let's see if I can push this around in a way that makes me like it. Because I don't know, do I just do it like that? No, I don't think that works either. And if I take it away, it's... I guess the umbrella kinda works, maybe? But I don't know. It still feels maybe a little bit lonely to me. Do I just do a tiny little bit here? Where's my, like, branch split? Yeah, just little tiny peak. I say as I make it bigger, but trust me, it makes sense. Just little tiny peeking. I don't like how it's the same angle as her head yet right now, but I think this is working a little better. So I will try to find an angle that is more suitable. And let's see. Okay. Well, this isn't driving me nuts yet, so let's try this pattern. Once Krita catches up with the blur filter, making it hate everything. Okay. There we go. What is that? Oh no, that's the post. That'll look better later once I actually light everything. So I'm not gonna worry about it. Alright. Goodbye, foreground. Let us go back to hair. What do I have going on down here anyway? Okay. So far so good, I think. It's just, it took me a while to render out all of that, and now I need to do the highlights, and then, stuff I want to try, more or less. So, okay, let's go get the highlights then. And honestly, I'm still realizing that I probably should have put my shadows on a different layer if I wanted to experiment with some gradients, but I didn't. So here we are. Okay. So some of the strands I added, some of the highlights, not gonna work like this anymore. Like these guys, this is nonsense. And it's not nonsense in a cool way, so I'm going to fix it. It's like, if nonsense wants to live in my drawings, it better be freaking awesome. Otherwise it gets cold. Always. Alright. So I'm just gonna draw in the rough spots for now, and then it'll then I'll start rendering it all out. First step, I gotta make things make sense with where I put my new little strand friends. Seems pretty important. Alright. And with the way I have this angled, it's going up a bit more sharply now, so I'm gonna move this part up too. Get something a little bit more like that. And I don't even know what this is. I do not think it is necessary. So I'll just make this part a little bit longer. One of those things, it makes sense in my head, so I'm gonna roll with it. And then this rolls up like this, so I think I'll put a little baby highlight right there too. It'll just be a little thin guy. It's okay, I'm pretty sure that strand didn't actually exist when I first put down the highlights, so. Okay. And now that I know exactly where all my shadows are going to be, that's gonna make it much easier for me to figure out where the rest of these highlights should go and how they should actually look, and all those great things. And I'm making them a little bit longer on the right side because the light is coming from the right side, so this makes sense to me. And then as I get over here, they'll get a little bit shorter. But this won't cover all of the light. This is just like the brightest spots, and then I'm going to add in some more gradients and other things that just look very, very nice. And hopefully it'll make the hair look nice and shiny. This is basically just like a hair first pass. I told you, hair never stops. Never. Never. It always comes back to haunt you, but it looks good, so it's fine. It can get away with it. Dang good thing it looks good, because otherwise nobody would put up with it. Nah. Okay, I was considering whether or not I wanted an extra little thing going there, but nah. I have decided I don't. Okay, and I'm just gonna casually start putting things down and kind of getting things into their... not to their final form, because I will be smoothing this a lot, but just enough to kind of get me started and then let me smooth that. And it's okay, I can go back and forth as much as I want. It's all good. And I'm not too worried about being smooth here. Just getting the idea down, then I'm gonna zoom out, make sure I like it, and once I do, then I can just go in. At that point, it'll be go time. I just zoom in and do all the things. And make it all look just really nice. I'm gonna make this part a little bit shorter. As always, still want to vary things up in terms of width, length, height. However, whatever word you want to use, just make things different, it'll look better. Hello there, Technobot. No, I am not done with Rooney yet. I'm just working on 2 pieces at once here, so I post the schedule over in my posts tab every week. Right now, things are a little bit flooded with Inktober stuff, but they are still there. I will be posting the schedule for tonight, but I am doing two separate paintings. I work on one 3 times a week, and the other twice a week. And then, games at another 2 times a week. So I will be working on the other one a little bit more tomorrow. But I can tell you that, this was not drawn today. I've been live for 15 minutes. 0% chance I could draw this in 15 minutes. Especially not fully rendered hair like this. Hair is freaking time consuming. It takes me forever. So no, I've been going at this for a little while. You can see in the stream title, this is part 4. where I just go back to doing hair for all eternity. Because I am drawing an anime girl, and they are like half hair. I think I'm going to start making them get pretty small down here. This one actually should be pretty thin, I think. I want it to be there, but it's going to be like half covered by this strand. So that one can be a little bit thinner, and then I can make this one a little bit thicker. Just vary all that stuff up, so this way things don't get too samey and boring. And it'll make everything look more hair-like, because hair is a wild, chaotic mess that does what it wants. And if things look too samey, it'll look less like hair. Look at some little baby highlights in here. Okay. And I am also just lining things up with the shadows that I drew, now that I know where they exist. All that good stuff, and I think just that is fine. Then I don't think this side needs anything too special. I'll let it get up next to the eyes there because I think it'll look nice, and yeah, I think that's fine for this area. I don't think this area needs too much going on, and I don't think well, do I want something there? I guess a little guy there is fine. If I'm gonna put a little guy there, then I kind of need a little guy here and here too. Okay, how do I feel about this? This one not working, but the rest look fine. Okay. This one's starting to get far away from the light source, so I think I just need to make it a little smaller. Just make this a little tiny one. Which might make these ones a little bit less necessary. But I think I can just wrap them up here and it should still look okay. Okay. Better. These ones, under normal circumstances, I think I would have put a little bit lower. But I think they make sense here, so I'm going to be okay with that. And these guys here, I think also could stand to just be a little bit lower. Someday I will be able to draw a selection. There we go. There we go. Now I got a nice curve going up and away here, kind of following her head a little. Alright, looks good to me. Let's go make them pretty. So now it is go time. I can zoom in and not have to worry about whether or not it's going to look good while I'm zoomed out, because I have tested it. I have looked. Alright, sounds good to me. Have fun. Alright. So I guess I'll add a couple little strands there, since I got a couple little strands in the shadows. I want to get a little closer here. Just to make sure that this is appropriately sized here, and that I'm not covering my shadows. And then one thing that I would like to do when these highlights are done is do some experiments with gradients. I've been having good luck with them on some other stuff that I've been doing, so I want to reincorporate them into this style. I haven't been doing that lately, and I think I should. So it'll be time for some science after I get all this smooth. Which, to be fair, is probably going to take me a little while. Because there's a lot of hair here. I feel like this character doesn't even have that much hair relative to some other anime girls I've drawn, but man, it still just feels like a lot. Always does. And I do like to take the extra time to get it nice and smooth. Okay. Now let's make these little guys look a little nicer, and I can start getting the little bit right next to here. I don't know why I keep starting in the middle, but I sure do. I don't think it's a problem, so I'm not going to make myself stop. It's just kind of funny. Or maybe I'm just easily amused. I do tend to be a little bit more easily amused when I am working on things on the more slow, tedious end of things, like hair. It helps keep me sane. I appreciate it. My brain is doing its best to help me out. Alright. Let's see, how do I want this to be shaped? Like, what direction is her hair going again at this point? Kinda just mostly down? Okay. So I don't really want to curve this too much then. I want it to be mostly straight. Very important that my shadows and highlights follow the flow of the hair and not whatever random stuff I make up. I mean, I guess to be fair, it is based on some random stuff I made up, but it better follow the other random stuff I made up rather than any new random stuff. Everyone's got to be doing the same thing. Otherwise, it won't look good. Look, man, I don't question what comes out of my head sometimes. It makes good art, so I'm not complaining. Okay. So let's see, this guy. Well, it's gonna be easy to see what it follows because it's following the edge of the head. So as long as I keep it roughly parallel with the edge here, I think it'll be fine. As long as it's smooth. And I don't think I want the tip of this little strand there to have anything on it. Do I have a shadow right here? Why? No, that's not a shadow. That's a gap. Okay. That explains. The thing behind her is also black, so it's an easy mistake to make. Hold on. Got it. Itch in my eye here. Still having some problems with allergies. It's just today I was a little smarter and actually took some allergy medicine. So it's hopefully not going to be as bad. Well, I mean, I say that, but yesterday they weren't so bad and today they were worse. So maybe it will be as bad. I don't know. I did not render you properly. I should fix that. Yeah, there's still some bumpiness here. I don't really feel like I need any of the extra stuff going here. I will just take it away. I wish I knew. Probably trees. That's why I live in space. There are less trees up there. But even then, I'm not entirely sure. It's probably not like a literal tree. I think one of the neighbors just has a bush that really disagrees with me. Or maybe it's a rogue plant in the backyard. I'm not sure. But there's something there. Regardless, it is almost certainly some type of plant pollen. Right now, the plants are just doing their last thing before they finally die. And I, for one, am looking forward to their timely death. So, it's okay. I'll get the last laugh. Okay, there we go. That looks better. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the top highlights before I do the extra ones lower down. Sounds good to me. So I'll just get all the little ones across her bangs first. I think I'm gonna put a little guy right there too. It's okay, I enjoy the occasional dropping down of just a tiny little highlight. I think it looks nice in hair. As for where to put them, I don't really know. I just kind of look at an area and I'm just like, ah, yes. A little tiny highlight will look good there. Let's draw it. Oh, there was a little strand right here that I somehow missed. Okay, I'm gonna have to shade that one a little differently then. So let's see. Probably want one on this side. And then, this one's actually a little tricky, because I don't know if it should go on the top or the bottom. I think the bottom makes more sense. So I'll just plop them here. And then maybe another one just up there. Does that look good? Yeah, I think it does. Okay, I will go with that. I will go with that. That seems pretty okay. I do not believe it's from anything, but I do play the same music in the background for all my art streams. I just use the same playlist. So you might be recognizing it from there, but it's just some royalty-free piano music I found on the internet. Let's see, I'm gonna move this one over to the right a little. I think its shape is fine though, so I will keep that. Yeah, I've been pretty happy with it. That's why I keep using it. They are nice little songs. I like them lots. Okay, and then this little guy just right there. Maybe another little guy just right there. Okay. That one was already pretty clean, so that makes for a lot less work for me. Alright, so I got another big one here, so I'm trying to kind of perfect the shape of that. And from there, I wanted to follow the shadow pretty closely, but I never really want them to overlap. I think that's pretty good. Maybe a little bit blobby up top here still. Okay, there we go. I think that one looks good. So I got just a little guy here. I am okay with it staying a little guy. I just want to change the angle a little bit so it follows the shape of the hair a little bit better. I do tend to erase a lot of the ones I just kind of plop down while I'm zoomed out. That happens a lot. It's fine. They serve a very important purpose. And, because they tell me if I'm putting things in the right spot, compositionally. You know, so from the big picture perspective. And I do check to make sure that I'm wrapping around her head properly, and all those kinds of things while I'm zoomed out. And if I did not do that step, even if I end up deleting a few here and there and redrawing them, I think things would look a lot worse. Gotta get those big picture structural things before you can really dig into the details. It's also why I keep insisting on messing around with the foreground elements when I don't like them. Like that, how I've moved the tree branch in front of her head around, like, every stream at this point, I think. I gotta get those things down. It's very important. And as always, I just kind of always take my time with this part. Hair is pretty important too. Anything near the face is worth going the extra mile on. Face is too important to really skimp out on the details with. All right, and here, I think I'll put one more little guy right there, but otherwise I think this area is looking all right. And there we go, I can see the end of the bangs. So there, I am almost through the highlights, and then I can do some fun and interesting science. See if I can make the hair just extra shiny today. I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to make a point of trying at least one new thing with every picture that I do. Sometimes they work, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I keep it, sometimes I delete it. It doesn't really matter if I end up liking it or not. The point is just, you can't really let your art evolve if you don't try things. And I think it's real easy to get stuck in a rut, where you just do the same thing over and over again, but just with a slightly different picture. And then you don't evolve. So gotta try things. Even if it doesn't always work out. But honestly, I think even when it doesn't work out, it still gives you very valuable information. It tells you what you like and what you don't like. And that is good to know too. I see some hair that was not very smooth again, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. There we go. Any mistakes I make can be cleaned up as I find them. Because it does happen sometimes. Especially when I'm going slightly insane, rendering mounds and mounds of hair. I don't think I want this one to go all, like, right up to the shadow there. And I do think I will put another little guy right here. This one's a little bigger than your average little guy, but that's fine. I do think it will look nice, so a little guy can go right there. And I think it's fine for this area to have highlights that don't go all the way across. We're starting to get into the area that's going to be more in the shadow. If the light is coming from the right, then the left side will not be getting as much light. So it makes sense for there to be less highlights. It'll still get a few. But I'm not going to make it go all the way across anymore. Actually, I guess it's still getting more than a few, but it's okay. It's just not going all the way across anymore. It can stop before it gets to the edge now. Okay, I think I'm going to make this one a little shorter here, just so it's not as long as the previous highlight. But beyond that, I think it's all pretty okay here. Maybe this side gets to be a little bit longer, just so it's not the same length as the previous highlight again. Just gotta keep that variation up. It'll look better when I do. And then I guess I'll get these little guys before I leave. I don't really like that little branch there, so I'm gonna kill it. Gotta prune those unnecessary branches. And once again, I just find a little area that I think could use a little bit more work. There we go. That looks a little better. And I want this highlight to be a little bit longer than that shadow. There we go. Don't want them rubbing up at each other like that. It just doesn't feel good when that happens. And then I actually think that this one looks pretty okay like this. I'll add just a little bit more structure to it, but beyond that, I think it's all good. All right. Now we'll get the lower ones. There aren't very many lower ones, so I'm almost free. And then I can do some science, and that'll be pretty fantastic. Love going in and learning new things. It'll be great. I say that, but I've actually tested this on a drawing I've done before, and for some reason I just kept forgetting to do it in my newer drawings in this style, so I'm already pretty confident it's gonna look good. But it's alright. Maybe if it looks really good this time, I'll remember to do it for future ones. These things happen sometimes. These things do indeed happen sometimes. So I gotta say, if I keep doing it, and with any luck, I'll remember to put my shadows on a different layer in order to make things easier for me when I go to add gradients like this. It's gonna feel weird. Not used to doing shadows on a separate layer from just the base color. I don't like to spam layers. I think having too many layers just makes things really unwieldy and hard to manage. I actually used to draw pretty much entirely on one layer. And, I eventually forced myself to learn because I found that it was easier to make changes when I had things on separate layers, and, yeah. It did help, so I don't really regret doing that. But there are still times where I'm just like, man, I don't want to be dealing with a million layers. That sounds like pain. Alright, last one on this side. And I've only got a few left on the other side. And that'll be it for these highlights here. Then I just get to go make them pretty. Make them glow, because I like doing that. I like my fancy glowing highlights. They are so nice. Okay. Just gotta come over here now. I think I like the little bit of a gap between this highlight and her skin here, so I'm gonna keep that. It wasn't intentional on my part. It does look like I intended to go all the way to the edge. I just roughed it in very roughly. So it wasn't drawn like that. And I was like, it actually, I think it looks better like this. So, worked out. Sometimes my hands just have really good ideas. And they plop things down before my brain even knows what's going on. Indeed. Indeed. All right. Oh man, I made a really long one here. It probably looks really good, but long lines are hard for me to render sometimes. Fortunately, I don't need to keep this one a super consistent width all the way through. I think having a little bit of variation is probably a good thing. So, not quite as bad as some of the other lines on like clothes and other inorganic inorganic surfaces that I've had to do. Here, I can pretty much do what I want and it'll be fine. It'll all be fine. Alright, I do want to get out here a little bit smoother than what I have, though. I think it's overlapping the shadow a little bit, which maybe not great, but I've got a little bit of hair I did not clean up here. Oh no, I don't. Okay, so it's a piece of back hair then. I do not want it showing there. Oh, it is not, actually. Is it a strand? What layer are you on, little bit of hair? What the heck are you? I do not know. I guess it's just the side of her head into the coat. Okay, that makes sense. I don't have to worry about it yet then. Just took me a bit to identify that. The hair and the coat are pretty dang close to the same color. So I am not surprised. It is easy to get them a little confused. Okay. I guess I'll make this guy just a little bit longer. This guy just a little bit shorter. That should look good there, and... You know, I should probably add a highlight on this part, actually. The strand is big enough that I think I could actually use it. Okay. I'll do that after I render this thick one right here. This really is quite a big one, isn't it? I think it looks really good though, so works for me. Honestly, I should probably use this kind of shape more often, especially for things like blunt bangs. I think that might have actually looked really good up on her bangs up there. Not enough to make me go back and redraw it all, but enough to put it in the back of my mind for later. Maybe that can be another hair experiment for a future piece, where I'm just like, ah, yes. Let's use this shape. I remember I wanted to do that. I do try to keep things like that in mind of just things I can try for the future. Sometimes I don't always remember, and sometimes I just end up trying something else first, so it kind of gets put on the back burner, but that's fine. I just like to note these things. Gotta keep your brain active, and frankly, while I'm just drawing all these little N or V-esque shapes, I'm not having to think about that much. So it's a perfect time to think about other things I want to try in the future. I don't know how I want that shape to be. Let's put in another line here and then connect them. There we go. That seems all right. Hello there, Ardian. Welcome. Just going through and drawing some hair highlights. Almost done with them, actually. Then I get to go and make them look shiny, which is always just very, very exciting to do. Makes things look really, really nice when it's done. Hold on, gotta cough here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's go make them shiny. Gonna zoom in just a little so I can see how shiny they are a little bit better here. There we go. That's some pretty good shine. Alright, now I'm just gonna take my airbrush and kinda lightly brush around the highlights here. Just very lightly. I'm not gonna go too far away. I think it makes things look a little bit more shiny. And I do like making things just a little bit more shiny when I can. The shininess just makes everything a little better, in my opinion. Like I said, I was gonna make her hair glow. This is even before I do my science with proper gradients and stuff. Alright, so I think that's good for the first pass here. Then the next step is I want to clear this bit of glow out of my shadows. I want the shadows to remain dark. So they cannot be glowing too much. I can leave a little bit behind, but I should keep it to an absolute minimum. Things will look better if the shadows are darker. So I'll just take a minute to just erase things here. This is where having my shadows on a separate layer might actually kind of help me out a little. Okay. So far, so good. It just does all things with hair. It's not hard, but it does take a second. And then I'm gonna go and kind of blur certain parts and make it a little bit more hair-like and various things like that. But I just don't want any light in my shadow areas. That is not where the light belongs. They have their own places, and the shadows deserve to have their own too. And I'm being a little bit messy about it because I do intend to go over it again. Not too messy, but I don't have to be perfect either. That is why sometimes I am indeed erasing outside the lines and all that, but for me it's more important that no shadow bits have light than to keep all the erasing in the shadow bits. It's fine for a little bit to bleed out. So I'll just go through and do this real quick, and then I can put the finishing touches on here, and then it'll be time for science. Gotta do some experiments and see if I can use a little bit more gradation in the hair effectively. That's my hope. I have experimented with it before, to great success actually. It's just, for some reason, I never did it again, and I'm not quite sure why. So I'd like to try to reintroduce it. Maybe even try some things that I haven't done with the technique. Okay, almost all the way around here. I think I started on the lower end of the right side. So this should be like the last little bit. Yep, there we go. Okay. Now most of the time I use my standard smear blender, but this time I'm going to try the textured one and see what that does for me. See if that makes things a little bit more hair-like. I'm trying to find a size that I like. And it's very important that I follow the flow of the hair. And anytime I accidentally bleed into the shadows again, I'm going to go through and erase and try again. I do not want a bunch of light in my shadow areas. They must remain dark. That is a must. It is not a suggestion. It must happen. It is for the best. Because it will look better that way. Okay, but that's looking pretty alright here. Let me clean up through here just a little bit more. Okay. Now I'm going to start going across her bangs again. And I'll just keep going all the way around once more. I'm going to be doing a few trips around her head here. Just kind of how it is. Drawing anime girls with many, many hair. With hair just all over the place. Okay, I think this is working out pretty well, though. And I'm even getting kind of some interesting little variations, like right here. I think it looks pretty good. Don't even have to do anything too complicated, which is also very nice. Okay, almost across the top. Fortunately, doing this, not quite as time consuming as some of my initial stuff. So, feels good. I can just kind of go. And all will be well. Okay, and I think this is the last bit there, and then her hair should look extremely shiny. Which makes me happy. Yeah, that looks pretty shiny. I like it. Alright. Time to do some science. I'm gonna do some extra shadows here. And I'm gonna do something similar, but I'm going to spread some shadows in a few places. Like some at the bottom here. There's actually going to be a lot over on this side. I want some kind of underneath here. And here. And just this side in general. How does it look on top of the highlights, actually? Oh, pretty good, actually. Okay, I'll keep it. Okay. Yeah. I think I like this. So I'm going to go back to the smudge tool and just kind of blend it all out together. Make it a little bit more hair-like through here. And then I also want to make sure that I have any spots that I put shadow on that should not have it. I was thinking here might be one of them, but I changed my mind. I want to make sure to erase any spots like that. The reason I changed my mind here is just because it's over on the left side, away from my light source. So I decided that I wanted to keep it dark. So I didn't need to do any erasing. It looked pretty fine. But the gradients I want to keep pretty smooth. Okay. And now this is where things are going to get a little interesting, because I want to introduce some gradient light. Not too different from what I did with the blue there, but I think I want it in a different color. So I'm thinking about that. These ones, the highlights I kept pretty blue because that was the nature of the light source. So I'm debating if I want them to use the same color or not. Because on the one hand, it makes sense. Like, if the light is blue, it makes sense for the light cast from it to also be blue. But do I want to add just a little bit more variation? Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm just going to call this layer extra light. I'm not sure if I want it on top of everything else or behind it. So I'll put it on top for now and see what happens. So I'm going to go with a little bit of yellow. And actually, I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go ahead and select my midtones here. Autosave allowing. And I'm only gonna draw on those. I'll get a little bit out there and maybe just a little bit. Huh. Okay, maybe not a little bit through there because it's not selecting properly. I wonder why. Oh, because it's, of course, it's on a different layer. Herpaderp. Okay. That would explain it. Okay, there we go. I will grow it by a single pixel, and now I will try that again. So I'm just going to put a little bit of extra light through here. Hello there, Neonix. Welcome. Oh, okay, yeah, I think the yellow actually looks pretty good. I will try a few different colors. I'll just use my hue saturation slider to do a little bit of experimenting with some different colors. But I think this is looking pretty good so far. And I don't know. Gonna try some blend modes. I'm not sure what to expect. Like I said, this is a bit of science. I am just trying something. I think I like color dodge. Okay. So let's see if I like that color, or if I would like to go with a different. Nope, I think I like that color. Okay, cool. So I think I'll just leave it like that. I think that's fine. And I think the hair looks pretty good. Let's see if I want it to be below the highlights. I do not have my color wheel up on my default thing here. I just always click onto here, so you do not see the color wheel because it does not exist. And then if you're talking about the hue saturation sliders, true. Unfortunately, OBS will not capture them. So I have tried, but it never quite works out for me. Okay, and I like this on top. Alright, and that should be good. I do think that these highlights will probably become more rainbow by the end. I will probably color them rainbow-like specifically. But that will be for closer to the end, I think. This, I think, is where I get to leave the hair. Which means I get to render a face. Heck yeah. Today is a good day. Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and just smooth out her face here. And from there, I can add just the baseline shadows and stuff. All the cool shadows are going to come closer to the end, where I make things more atmospheric and stuff. But that doesn't come until, like, everything else is done. Man, I cannot draw straight lines today. My hand feels very shaky for some reason. It's alright, I can still smooth things out in these conditions. I have gotten used to it. Dexterity is basically my dump stat, so I have always been a little bit shaky. And that is the only spot not covered by something, I think. Unless this is also a little bit. Looks like it is. Okay. I will make sure to smooth that out too. Just had to double check. But yes, that other color back there is the neck. So I do want that to be smooth. Okay, and now I can get all the shadows from the hair and stuff in. That's why I wanted to render the hair first. So that this way I would know exactly where to plop my shadows. Okay, and then I do think I will put just a little bit over on the side of the face here. Just to make it look like this part is starting to turn away into the background. But it'll be very thin. Alright, let's zoom in and make them all look nice now. I'm not going to go very hard on the shadows here, since her hair is covering her eyes and I do not want to make her look suspicious. So they will be pretty thin shadows. Because the thing with anime styling is that if you put too many shadows over the eyes, they do make the character look suspicious. Like they're plotting something, and they got something nefarious going on. Because, I mean, look, it's like she's got a nice little face, cute little smile, but if I do this, suddenly it just looks way more suspicious. So, I gotta be careful about that. It's amazing how little it takes. I know, right? Alright, and I'm going to continue my experiments with gradients on the face too, I think. But I think I will do that after I render out all of her facial features. So I want to get the nose, mouth, and eyes all looking very nice before I go in and continue my gradient-based experimentation. Here, I'm just making sure that the shadows follow the shape of the hair very closely. Leaving a little bit of distance between the shadow and the strand. In fact, I don't think I have quite enough here, so let's erase that and put it in a slightly better spot. Just because I want to show that there's a little bit of distance between the bangs and the hair. And making the shadow a short distance away helps with that. As opposed to just right up next to it. And this time I have dark hair against pale skin, so I can actually do this. sometimes when I have light hair against pale skin, it doesn't work very well, and I have to put the shadows close anyway. But no problem this time. Hair quite dark, skin quite pale. Makes my life easy. No shenanigans necessary. All right. I think that's good. I think that's about all she needs. Let's see, is the ear even showing anymore? It isn't. Nice. I hate drawing ears. So I'm happy when I don't have to. I just want to give her a tiny little nose here. I think I can mostly just smooth out what I had. Oh yeah, the anime hair is a whole thing. Yeah, I was just, well, I mean, I just finished rendering the last of her hair here, and the entire time I was just, oh my god, why did I draw so much hair? I'm talking about how it's just a whole thing. But it's okay. It looks nice in the end, so it's worth all the extra effort, I think. But now I get to do some easy stuff, so feels good. Okay, that should be fine. Let's go ahead and get her face here. Honestly, the fact that it's right up against that shadow kind of upsets me a little, so I might change some things, but we'll see. For the most part, I think I just have to smooth out what I have. I might add some additional shadows as well. Just because there is a little bit of a cast shadow from the hair on this. So it might look better with that. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit more here. I always like to get the spots at the end super thin and then have a point where it kind of thickens out. Becomes a little round. I don't know. Especially when it comes to smiles, I think it makes people look a little bit happier. I'm going to go ahead and grab this tongue color because I get the feeling it is going to be destroyed. But it's okay. I got it saved. So I can redraw it freely. Once I get the shape exactly the way I want it to be. When I start rendering things, I always like to focus on the outer edge of the shape before I worry about the inside. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just perfecting that outer edge. And then I'll put the tongue back. And then I will add the additional shadows I was just talking about. It'll be great. Okay, I think that's good. Let's just go put her tongue back here. Okay, and now I'm going to be lazy. I'm just going to grab a nice gray-purple, which in this case I can just steal the shadow from her face. And I'm just going to go over The areas I think need a little bit more shadow. Via setting my brush to multiply blend mode. There we go. And I think that is fine. Just a very small expression. She's not a super expressive VTuber, so I think just a very tiny smile is perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the little bit of the eyebrows that are showing. It's because it's easy and it'll take me all of like a minute. Honestly, probably even less than that. And then I can go into the eyes. Cool. Yep. All done. Eyelashes. So this, I think I will render without the hair. So she's going to be bald for a second. That's fine. She doesn't need her hair right now. It'll be back for the end. So far, I'm actually pretty happy with the shape of the eyelashes. I just want to make this top lash a little bit thicker. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. And I'm just kind of smoothing it out at the same time. And I will do the same on the other side before I finish off this one. Doing one side and then the other just right away. Increases your odds that you will make the eyes look symmetrical. Just one of those little process things. It helps. Because then you got the shape in your memory and you kind of remember what you were doing. And it's just easier to replicate. At least I think that's roughly why it works, but all I know is it is definitely true for me. But first I want to finish smoothing this part out. I'm still trying to keep her eyes pretty flat. I'm gonna make them slightly rounder than I would otherwise, but not like a lot. Like I said, she is a very neutral expression, monotone VTuber. I don't want to overdo it with the expression. It will be much more her and much more cute if I keep it very subdued. So I'm making it a little bit rounder, but not a lot. Just a little. Definitely don't want to overdo it. Definitely don't want to overdo it. Okay, now I'll just smooth out the corner there, and there we go. Gotta go copy it to the other side now. And I want to keep it in frames. This way I can reference what I did before nice and easily. And there will be some differences here. Just because the eye is at a slightly different angle. But I'm trying to, for example, the horizontal, the tilt here, it goes like this, so I can tell that my eyes are a little bit off in terms of alignment. Because this should be roughly on the same line. So I can tell that this part is too high up. So I should fix that immediately, actually. Gotta respect the angle of the face. I'm looking at the angle of the mouth to kind of help me get that. Still a little bit low, it looks like, but this side seems pretty okay. I think I will lower this corner too. I'm going for a particular shape. I just want the bottom to be just a little bit rounder than it currently is. Okay. And the angle that her eyes sit at is slightly, very, very slightly, it goes up a little. But not a lot, just very, very slightly. And like I said, I'm just trying to make the eyes a little bit rounder than I normally would make them. So I'm keeping that in mind too. Okay, let me flip the canvas a little and make sure that everything still looks good here. This is where I gotta make sure everything is exactly how I want it, so... if something feels a little bit off, I need to fix it. But this seems good. Looking up at my preview here. A little bit high, yeah. I like to use the thumbnail for checking proportions because it's just always way zoomed out. And if one of the angles is just super off, it's real easy to see. So I want to make sure that the corners of the eyelashes line up and the corners of the eyelashes over on the other side line up. Okay. There we go. I do think that is a little bit better. Okay, and now I can just draw the rest in here and finish smoothing it all out. But I'm always happy to take a little bit of extra time and make sure that the eyes are good. I think I've said it 3 or 4 times this stream already. You can't mess around with the face. The face is the most important part. Pretty much anytime there's a face in your painting, like, I struggle to think of any exceptions. I mean, there's a reason why concept artists and other landscape painters, when they want to add a person for reference, they often have it with their back to the viewer. So that this way there is no face in the painting, because humans, their attention will be immediately drawn to any face, even if it's small. Even if it is not actually a face. That's why we can see faces in clouds and stuff. It is just how our brain is wired. So gotta make sure that the face is exactly how I want it to be. So I will take the time to make it extra smooth. To make sure that the proportions are entirely correct and that it feels like her eyes are sitting on her face nicely. But I think I'm pretty happy with this, so I think I'm probably gonna zoom in again and start smoothing it out. And here I'm just making sure that the corners of her eyes are lining up well. But I think it's all good. So now I can start smoothing up this top lash. And then I'll go back to the other side, do the side lash. And then I'll come back over here and do the side lash. And then I'll do the bottom one. As I do one piece, I like to go back and do the other side. It is easier than doing the entire eye. Highly recommend it for anyone that is having trouble drawing symmetrical eyes. It does help. Just trying to get some of that roundness I keep talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the other side here. Now it is time for the side lash. Gonna have it thicker at the top and just kind of have it taper out at the bottom. I think that's the way hers work too. Her entire side lash is pretty thin. Mine will be a little bit thicker just because that's how I do things. My style is not delicate in the slightest. Alright, and we'll let it just blend right into the bottom there. Okay, I guess I'm doing the bottom lash at the same time. That happens sometimes. Sometimes I do the bottom and the side at the same time. That's fine. Hello there, Menka. Welcome. Alright, I just wanted a little bit thinner up at the top here. Then I think it'll be about time to finish up the bottom. It's okay, eyes are where things get fun. As always, when I'm being super careful like this, it is a little bit slow. And I always do the irises last. But it's okay. Because that will definitely be happening today. And I got some things I would like to try. Just gonna be trying many a thing today. Oh, it always makes for a fun painting when I get to try new things. So here, I'm mostly just noticing that, like, my edges here are super blurry. Like, if you just compare the crispness of the edge here versus here. Super blurry. I don't like the blurriness at all for this style. There are certain ones where a little bit of blurriness is okay, but for this in particular, it just always looks super bad. So I gotta make sure I get it super smooth. Alright, just gonna smooth out the corner there, make sure that it all turns in very nicely, curves into the bottom lash, just the way I want it to. And then I just gotta do the same on the other side, and that will be the end of the eyelashes. I guess this is kind of line arty. I don't really do line art, I just... I draw shapes. And for me, this is just the shape of the eyelash, where it does get thin at the bottom. And then I'm just cleaning up anywhere else that I think needs a little bit of extra help, like this side still looks a little bit blurry to me. only a little, but it's the eyes. Can't leave a little bit of blurriness on the eyes. Can't do that. Yeah, I personally find it a little bit easier. Plus then I can focus on like the entire composition, colors, and everything right at the start. And don't have to wrangle anything else after. Okay. Let's see, got a little blob right there, but otherwise I think we're looking good. So I'm gonna go to the other side now. Just gotta do the same thing over here. So thick at the top, thin at the bottom, and then nice, thin lower lash here. Pop. And just smooth out any blurry parts that got blurry from excessive use of transform tools. It's okay. Having to clean everything up after is way easier than not using the transform tools at all, in my opinion. So I will keep doing it. And here I'm going to make the side lash a little bit thicker than the other side because we're seeing the eye from the side. But not a lot. I still want it thick at the top, thin at the bottom. Okay. And actually, considering how much of this is going to be covered by her hair, I probably don't have to be going this hard, but oh well. It is what it is. Personally, I find it a little easier to draw like this, so I think it's worth a little bit of extra work. The bottom, however, is not covered by hair, so I better draw that in detail. Get it just right. Okay, so I think that's pretty good there. How thick did I draw this? Okay, a little bit thinner here. Not a lot, just a little. Just a little. And I do think I have these slightly misangled. No, this one's okay. This one is, it needs to go slightly higher. That is just the shape of her eyes, where the lower lash just goes very slightly higher. This corner is lower than this corner. So that's not any particular thing. That's just me wanting to copy the shape of her eyes as closely as possible. So this way it will look a little bit more like Ririsya. Okay, I think that's good. How are we looking? Let's turn her hair back on. We'll get rid of the baldness now. Alright, the gaze is wrong, but I kind of figured that would happen, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm gonna go ahead and draw the fluffy parts of the eyelashes now. I do that in bald mode as well, I just don't smooth it in bald mode. I'm gonna do it on another layer. I don't trust myself today. And I like making eyelashes extra fluffy. I'm trying to tone it back a little bit just because I do feel like my excessive eyelash love is flattening out the way the eyes look. So I am trying to tone it back a little bit, but I can't say no to fluffy eyelashes, man. They gotta be a little fluffy. And I'll smooth them out after I have her hair back on. And much like with hair, I try to vary their width and length to an extent. It makes them look a little bit fluffier. Alright, gonna go get the lower lashes now. And those ones are just little baby ones. I don't like to make them too big. Just little tiny ones. But nonetheless very fluffy. Okay. Now this side I can go a little bit more ham on when it comes to the side lashes. Because we're seeing so much of the side of her eyes here. So I get to have a little bit of fun. I do love fluffy lashes, though. They just make me happy. That's why I keep doing it. I'm always worried it makes the characters look like they have heavy makeup, but it's not my intention. I just really, really like drawing them. I just think it is a good time. Alright, almost there. Okay, I think that's probably good. Then I'll turn the hair back on, and now I can kind of smooth them out. So, because now I know which eyelashes matter and which ones don't. I always like to put them down in bald mode, just so I don't get, how should I say it? Lost in where they should be placed. So I can place them while only paying attention to the eye itself. And then I can care about the rest after. I can care about which parts need to be smoothed afterwards. But now I can fully trust their location. I know that where I put them is accurate, and so I can smooth in peace without second guessing whether or not I have them in good spots, or wondering, hey, does this one look weird or something. I know that they are all good and I can trust it. And occasionally I go ahead and add in some baby ones. If I deem it necessary. And then there was a few places like here I thought it was unclear which was eyelash and which was hair, so I toned back the eyelash a little bit, and I'll just add a couple of baby ones there to compensate. Alright, and now I just get to have a nice peaceful time smoothing about, and then I can add like a final details and stuff. I like to add a little bit of lighting to them since I do a bunch of stuff with the eyelashes. I think it looks a little bit better with a little bit of texture to them rather than just leaving them like this. So that will be added right after I finish smoothing the last bit. And I will go ahead and merge these layers together just to make it easier to do. And now I can lock the layer, and normally I'd grab a midtone. It's gonna be kind of hard to get the midtone here, isn't it? I can hide some of my gradients, I guess. There we go. So I'm not gonna add too many details, just a few little things. I don't like them to show off too much. I might add a little bit of the proper blue highlight there. I don't think I need a lot of proper blue highlight though, so I think it is mostly fine. So I will be very, very gentle with it. Okay, and I think that's probably all good. Okay, now I'm gonna do the eye white, and her skin is way too bright, so I'm gonna turn them black. So that this way I can see where I'm coloring. The iris will go away for now. And she will look slightly possessed, but don't worry, it's okay. I can fix it. She will be okay. I always find this very convenient. When I can't see, because the color contrast is a little bit too low, I just hit Control-I on my keyboard to invert the colors, and I can normally get something where I can see. And then I can just hit Control-I to invert them back, and I lose nothing. Any shading that I did will still be there. Because all I did was invert the colors. I didn't do anything special. Just inverted them. There we go. Now I hit Control-I again, and ta-da, they are back. And I think I'm going to make them just a little bit lighter. So once again, just hitting Control-U to bring up hue saturation. OBS doesn't capture it, it's very sad. But that's what I do. And I think for this, I actually just want to use the skin tone shadow. I think that using the same one makes sense here. There we go. Yeah, and that's all the lighting for the eye white, so now it is time to have fun. It is eye time. It is time for the iris. Okay, I don't like the way they look right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and clear them. I do think it makes sense for her irises to be very big. She is a cute character, and big, giant irises relative to the eye white are cute. So they are gonna be freaking massive here. Maybe not that big. I don't want to overdo it. And I want to make sure a little bit shows here, so she's not quite looking through the corner of her eye. She's just kind of starting to look that direction. Slightly smaller on this side. Maybe like right there. A little bit to the left, I think, but close. There we go. And maybe ever so slightly smaller. And just to clarify, when I talk about a character being cute, when it comes to anime, there's generally two flavors of girl. Cute or cool. And in her case, I think she's more cute than cool. So I tend to use patterns that are cute, rather than cool. And I'm sure you can think of more variations, but there's lots of different ways to be cute and lots of different ways to be cool. So just broadly speaking, I find that girls tend to be in one of those two categories. Okay, I'm gonna check them here. And before I get too deep into that, I think I'm gonna go look somewhere else for a little bit just to make sure I still like them. I think that they are pretty good. But let's go ahead and let's see. I can't really work on the face here if I want to look away for a second. So I guess I'll start smoothing out the body. Just kind of in her neck and shoulder area here. And once I'm satisfied with that, I can go back and make sure I like it. I just always like to look away for a second. When I'm drawing on my own, that's often, you know, when I'll get up, walk around, get some water or something. Just so I can not look at it. It's fine that it's on the screen right now. I'm just not looking there because I am busy looking down here. And smoothing out her neck and stuff. So I'll just get the neck and shoulders looking good here. Don't mind that the dress is no longer sitting on her shoulders properly. That will be fixed later. I just don't really want to hide it because YouTube is weird and I don't trust it, and I don't want them to think I am drawing naked ladies. Okay, so I have the background on a different layer, huh? Sure do. Okay. So I just want to smooth all that out. Where's my body layer? I lost it. Oh, it's right above it. I thought it was higher up than that. So just kind of perfecting the shape of her shoulders here. Making sure that they are sufficiently adorable. Because yes, it is very possible to make shoulders cute. They do not involve having lots of random blobs on them. They must be smooth. And actually, I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna have to do some more experiments with the face, because I just remembered that she is a zombie. So I'm wondering if I should add too much, or how much like blushing to the cheeks I should add. Because it's possible that I should just leave her with kind of an undead, blushless face. But on the other hand, that is not super cute. So I'm kind of considering my options here. Looking at her model, she has a little bit. I do see a little bit of pink on her cheeks over there. So I probably should add a little if her own model is doing it. But I gotta keep it really subdued. Definitely don't want to overdo it there. Okay. So that's pretty smooth. Unfortunately, I think after I do this, I will have looked away from her eyes long enough that I can go draw them. Assuming I still like them. But I just always gotta look away for a second, just to make sure I'm not messing up my proportions or anything like that. I must show restraint, and I must make sure everything is correct and that I like it. So that this way, when I finish it, I don't come back the next day and be like, oh man, that is wrong and looks terrible. I guess I better go fix it and do a bunch of stuff, and then, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to re-render it again because I changed a bunch of things. And it would just be deeply unfortunate. So, I prefer just to show a little bit of restraint and come back to it once I've had a chance to look away and make sure that I like everything. Okay, let's go turn the hair back on and take a look. Looks good to me. Okay, let's give her some pupils. Okay, does she have special pupils? No. Okay, cool. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a color for her eyes. This is gonna be the just basic eyeshadow color. So I'm setting my brush to overlay, painting with a dark purple. I don't like this color, so I'm gonna do the other way, where I set it to multiply and then set it to kind of a gray purple. So it's lighter. I think that color's pretty good. And the difference, I like mixing the colors directly, it makes me happy. And the big difference between using overlay with a dark color versus multiply with a lighter desaturated color is just that overlay will often increase the saturation of the color, which I often like, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And so multiply will leave the color a little bit more desaturated. So I tend to just base it on that. This one will be very slightly larger. So yeah, I just tend to base it on that. And I like to draw the pupils on separate layers. Normally, for a character like this, I'd make it a little bigger. Yeah, I think I should. Okay. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't quite sure what size to make it. Let's make him a little bit bigger. She looks a little freaked out right now. Okay. Anywho, I put them on a separate layer because right now I'm just like, I don't quite like the way she's looking. So I just want to use these to kind of adjust the gaze a little. I'm not quite sure where I want them to be yet, but as long as I have them on a separate layer, I can move them around as much as I want. So I can kind of figure it out. So I don't know, something like that, I guess. There's a rainbow over here. I just have it hidden at the moment while I draw her. Just because the foreground kind of gets in the way while I'm trying to focus on her. And then I'm just going back and forth to make sure she's looking the direction that I want her to. Because it should look like she's looking to about the same place, regardless of how I have it flipped. And if flipping the canvas changes how she's looking, then I have done something wrong. But I think this looks good. So I think we're good. All right. Let's go and start detailing them. I like to put a little shadow around the pupil. I think it looks nice. And for this part, I want to go in. I'm going to put a little ring around the outer part of the eye here. Again, I just think it looks nice. I like it a little thicker at the top, a little thinner at the bottom. With few exceptions. I was just reminded of my other drawing where I'm drawing a Rooney Ruse of Phase Connect. And hers, I had it the other way because I have her lit from below. So that's one place where I'd have it thicker at the bottom and thinner at the top. Although, strictly speaking, the bottom of her eyes was actually off screen. So, maybe not actually super relevant, but it's fine. Alright, just keeping the light source in mind, so I'm making the bit over on the right side a little bit thinner than on the left. I'm not actually sure if it matters, but it makes me happy, so I'll roll with it. This being anime, the eyes are super important, so I go all out on them. I hold nothing back, and I make sure that they are basically as perfect as I want them to be before I move on. So I'm getting this curve super, super smooth. Can't mess around when it comes to eyes. It's gotta be good. It's gonna be like the first thing everyone looks at. Didn't quite line this up with the shadow. There we go. And this one I'm making a little bit thicker than the last one just due to the angle of the head. The angle that we're seeing this eye at. Okay, there we go. So now the little bit around the pupil. Oh no! Oh, it's unfortunate. Did you lose a bunch of work? Yeah, here's hoping that it all worked out. Or that you have an autosave or something to help you out. How thick did I make the bottom there? Okay, we're good. Excellent. Could be worse, I suppose, then. That's good. It's always unfortunate when you lose a bunch of work. It just feels bad. Okay, there we go. I think that's about where I want it. So let's see, I'm going to do a thing where I gradate this a little bit without gradients. And that's going to be with hatching. That's going to be like this. Trying to get it a little bit more squared off. And then gradually these lines will get a little thinner. A little further apart. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just with the lighter color. So this is another thing. I tried once, I had great success with it. Never did it again, and I don't know why. These things just, they happen sometimes. Life is weird. Okay. So there we go. And from there, I think I'm going to go ahead and darken the top a little bit. No idea what I just did. Ah, shoot. I accidentally derped around and now things are weird. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me make sure that everything is in order here. Okay, yep, we're good. I just accidentally clicked all untagged instead of all. It's fine. Krita just tried to help me out by applying a filter to my brushes that I never use. Okay. This, however, I will do with a normal gradient. As opposed to hatching. I just like to plop a little bit of the pupil color up at the top. Okay. How we're looking so far. Pretty good. I haven't even added highlights and she only looks slightly dead inside, which is always a great sign. Okay, and now I got another thing I just kind of wanted to try again. Another thing that I did for a while and stopped. So I want to see if it was a good idea that I stopped it. Because, I don't know. I think that my most recent solution has honestly been working better than this one. So, yeah, okay. I will go ahead and try what I've been doing first. Because it's been working. So I'm just taking my base color, I put it on a new layer that I set to color dodge. And it's given me a nice little pink color here. And this will be kind of some nice light spots where the light is hitting. And later on, I will probably add some more rainbow colors to this, but I don't think I'm going to do that until I do the rest of my rainbow lighting. Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this all super duper smooth. Not gonna happen while I'm zoomed in to 133%. Don't know why I hate the aliasing at 133% specifically, but I sure do. So I just know it to be true. Alright, so I'll get this super smooth, and then I'm gonna cut into it with my eraser. Make some interesting little shapes, and I might even add some more highlights somewhere, I don't know. I'll probably add the specular highlight first. See if it's necessary for me to do anything else. Okay, so I think this looks pretty alright. So I'll go ahead and finish up the last little spots, and then I'll start cutting into it. I don't normally go all the way through. I only go all the way through in like a few spots. Whatever suits me. And as always, I try to vary the width and length that I cut in like this. Don't want it to be super samey. It won't look as good. Alright, that should be fine. Yep, I think it looks fine. Let's get the other eye. This one I want to get a little bit closer to the shadow on the side there. Because we are... Actually, no, I'm wrong. I got it backwards. I want it to be a little bit further away, because the eyeball is round. The pupil is just a hole. There we go. Okay. Basically, the shape should be coming out like that. Whoop. Think of it like this. I should go a little further to this side, though, I think. Only a little bit, though. Okay. So I'm gonna smooth out this side just a little bit more, and then I do believe I will be ready to cut into this again. Try to get the angle right here. I just wanted a small one. Still just trying to make sure that my line variation is good. Don't want things to be too samey. There we go. I think that should look good. All right. And now I'm just going to add another layer here. And just put in a little bit of another light part right here. Okay, color dodge is way too light. That's fine. No. I like the idea, but I think I just want to use a soft gradient instead. There we go. Yep, I think that's better. Okay. And now it is time for the specular highlight. Let's see, what do her speculars look like? She's just got a little tiny one. And you know what? I think that's actually perfect for her, so I'm not going to change it too much. We're just going to put little tiny one up on top of the pupil here. And maybe I'll blop one right there. Yep, I think that's perfect. So I will lighten it up just a touch, make it a little bit less desaturated, or a little bit more desaturated rather. And now I'll make it glowy. Alright, that looks good. Then I will duplicate that again. And this time I will change the color to like the opposite of her eye color here, which is going to be around the yellows. And it's just the kind of thing where I think it looks a little bit more glowy when I do that. So I think right about there is going to be good. I blurred it too much. Whoops. Okay, let's try that again. Hold on, I got a cough. Man, I look forward to the day my throat is no longer just being a thing. Alright, let's try that again. Actually, before I can even do that again, I don't quite like the shape of this one. Needs to be a little smoother. There we go. That's better. Okay, now I can try that again. Okay. Just gonna find that color I like again. Yeah, right around there. That's pretty good. Okay. There we go. That doesn't look nearly as blurry. Man, that's some I'm just looking at the eyes and I was like, man, it's like I know I was trying for cute, but I wasn't expecting that kind of result. That's like closer to Disney princess cute. I guess it's fine. Alright, I'm gonna add a few more little reflections. Actually, I think I want these on top of the pupil. I don't know. There are different kinds of cute. But I think it's fine. Okay, and then gotta erase one side. Make it a soft gradation on that one side. I don't like this side. I gotta fix that before I can do this. Because it's a lot harder to fix once it's all a soft gradation. This side looks fine, though. Only problem may be that I didn't make it long enough, but that's easy to do with a little bit of transform tools, since one side is already blurry. Let's just make it a little bit longer. There we go. Alright. And I think that's... Yeah, I think that's good. So I guess I'll go finish off the rest of her face. I had some experiments I wanted to do with gradients. And first, I'm going to add the blush. Like I said, I'm going to keep it a little bit more subdued than usual. Because she is a zombie. And zombies should not have too much blood in their face. So I just want to keep it very soft and light. Put a little bit on the chin and nose. Just a little. and a little tiny bit on the forehead. And now I'm gonna pull it back just a touch, especially around the nose. I think that this cheek needs a little bit more. And I won't add any, like, blush highlights or anything for this one. Alright. I think that's good. And then I wanted to do a little bit of experimenting with gradient shadows. So let's see. Like a little bit on the chin, maybe. And then maybe a little bit over on this side. And then maybe just a little bit underneath the hair. Like I said before, don't want to go too low on those kinds of shadows, because otherwise she will look suspicious. I do not want her to look suspicious. Okay. I'm just pulling it back just a little here, but I think I like it. Yeah, I think I like it. Okay, I'll keep it. And then I wanted to draw some eyelids. I'm just gonna keep it simple. Oh, I probably have the wrong color. Yeah, because now I have blush on her face. Yep. Well, I can see it, but it's not gonna stop me from using it. It's a good word. Okay, and I think that is sufficient. So I think that is her face done here. Hooray. Just thinking if there's anything else I want to try, but I don't really think so. I think this looks pretty good. So I still got a little bit of time, so I guess I'll start moving into the body. Which means, now that I have a lovely face finished, it's time to cut off her head. So this way I can sanely go work on her body. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and just clear out some stuff there to make my life easy. And I think I'm gonna hide that umbrella pole. I don't really want to draw it right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw the top part of her arm here. And then start working on the necklace and dress, I think. Yes, that sounds good to me. At some point I'll blend this area together a little bit better, but right now I just kind of want to see what I'm doing, so having the contrast is really helpful. Okay. So I just got easy shoulder smoothing here. I don't think I have to do anything too special. I kind of want to show the one muscle group in the shoulder right there where I just go in just a little. But I think that'll be the extent of it. Doesn't even show on this side. It's a bit lower down. In fact, I think I actually have it too high on this side, so I'm not even sure if it shows that much here either. Yeah, it probably doesn't actually. It's just all covered by coat. Really, I should probably be smoothing out her coat before I do everything else. You know, that actually makes way more sense than what I'm doing. So let's do it. Okay, so I got sleeves there. I guess I'll get the necklace because that is not covered by coat, and that I can just do. I want her head for that though, so let's turn that back on. Where'd I put it? There it is. I have to turn off the hair. So I know that pretty much this entire necklace is being hidden by hair, but I want to make sure it's wrapping around her neck before I turn the hair back on. But I won't render it with the hair off. Let's see, I need to hide the back of the coat there. Just to make sure that this is all sitting where it should. I'm just not going to smooth it out too much yet. I just want the width needs to be correct, and that's about it. So width, how wide are you? How wide are you anyway? Okay, so I'd say that this is about half, and then I'm looking at this. Those white parts are transparent, I think. Okay. So I think this is about correct, if not slightly thick for the black part. So I'll tone that down a little. And then I think I'm going to add another layer for the other bit. I do believe that this is about the same color as her hair. Pretty close. I guess it's a little bit warmer. A little bit of a warmer purple. Is that intentional? I think it might be, but frankly, with my style, I think they are close enough together that I'm just going to use the same one. So let's see here. The little triangle bits. They look a little crooked on this reference here, and I don't think that's how they're supposed to be drawn. I think this was just drawn very quickly. So I'm going to assume that this triangle here is supposed to be centered on the pendant. So that's going to be like right here. So I do need to cut off the rest of her head for this. Okay. That's fine, I can do that. Let's see, but before I do that, I will go ahead and draw the pendant part. Looks like it's just an ordinary teardrop shape. Nothing super special about it. Not gonna smooth it yet. I just want to get it drawn at the correct angle so it looks like it is sitting on her chest. That's all that matters to me right now, because there is just no point in rendering this fully when it's going to be covered by hair. I do not plan to animate this, so I do not need to worry about the hair moving. Okay, it doesn't quite look like it's sitting right. I'm gonna go ahead and just liquefy this into perspective. There we go. That looks pretty close. So now I can go... I'm gonna turn the hair back on and cut off her head entirely and start roughing in where this purple part should be. So, according to what I think, we're gonna have a little triangle spike going down right about here. There we go. And I just want to draw this line roughly parallel with the rest of the necklace. And then I will start filling the rest in. Not super visible. I think it'll look okay once I add all the other shadows and stuff, and I'm just roughing it in very messily for the moment. Because I don't know how much of this is going to be showing. I think most of it is going to be covered by hair. Okay, so I think that's a good enough shape. Let's go ahead and turn the head back on. And indeed, literally all of it is covered. Okay. But now I know. Now I know. I drew it rough, so it didn't take very long, and now I know that none of it shows, so I don't even have to worry about it. Very nice. Okay. So yeah, I guess while I'm here, I'll just draw all the patterns and stuff too. Let me see. I want to... There's like a little gold connection here. And I want to see if that shows. Just gonna merge these. So I want to see if that shows. So that'll be like right here. Oh, is that really the right color? Yeah, I guess that is the color shown here. Yep, that is about right. Okay, so we're gonna have a thing there. And another little circle bit here. Are they the same size? Roughly, yes. Okay, so that tells me I should move the teardrop shape just a little bit higher. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And then I will connect them like this. Keeping it rough, because like I said, don't know if the hair is going to cover it all. But if I draw it rough and it does... Okay, and it does. Not visible at all. Well, no, there is a little tiny part visible right there. But there we go. Now I know that I don't have to really draw it at all. Let me see. Size of the teardrop. It like fits in the area between her collarbones perfectly. So let me see where I think her collarbone should go. I'm gonna hide the necklace just so it doesn't corrupt my thought process here. And I actually make sure to put the collarbones in the right place. Okay. So the pit of the neck is about right there, so it should do something like this, I guess. If I'm just roughing them in very loosely. Size seems about correct. Okay, cool. I don't think I actually have those drawn correctly, but I think it's close enough. And I'm also realizing that I think her shoulders are a little bit thick on this side. Maybe, I don't want to adjust her shoulders with her head off. No, it's less that these are long and more that this one is short. So I will adjust it like that. Where is the arm layer? That just means I pull this out a little. Okay. That looks a little better, and then I will adjust the sleeves such that they cover that. Okay. I think that's a little better. Looks a little bit more balanced there. Gonna cut off her head again and check it. Yep, seems pretty good. Okay. I will probably end up drawing her collarbones, so I will want to get those right, but I could do that a little bit later. And I don't think I quite want to draw the ribbon yet. I should soon, though. Just because that's like the last thing on her head. Well, I don't think I want to do that right now, so I will do that later. I think I'm going to go ahead and finish off the necklace. So I have the pendant sized correctly, I think. So I can just kind of smooth this now. And I know exactly how much I should care. Alright. And then it's not on the reference here for some reason, but I do see like a little pattern here. I can't tell what it is. Is that like a flower? Let me see if I can find some more references of her. Get a better idea of what's supposed to be on there. It does look like a little flower. Maybe a ribbon? Might be a ribbon. Okay, I think it is a ribbon. But I'm gonna take an extra look just to be sure. But it is quite small. So I think I'll be okay regardless, but I do want to make sure. I do like to respect the design as much as I can. Okay, yes, it does look like a ribbon to me. So I'm gonna go with ribbon. And let's see, is it the same color as like the hook? I think it is. I'm gonna roll with that. So let me grab the color there. I'm gonna have to hide the hair for a second to get it. Okay. And okay. Maybe I shouldn't have closed my other references. It's just so tiny. Okay. Okay. So it's about... I'd say it's at the widest point, which is going to be right about here. And it does something like this. Okay, rounds this way, and then there's like... connects back over here, but there's like a little hole right there. This is tilted the wrong direction. I'm gonna have to pull this up. And that is too big, but that's okay. I will fix it. I just want to take another look at what it is I'm trying to draw here. Very important to actually know what it looks like. You'll be amazed at how many shortcuts your brain takes. You never know what something looks like until you try to draw it. If our brain actually saw things for what they looked like, art would be so much easier. Okay, I think that angle is close enough. I think I still have it too big, though. Okay, and then there's like the little ribbony bits. One coming off over here, like kind of like this. Little tails. I think it actually turns this way. And then the other one comes down like this. So something like that. And I think that should be fine. Okay, let's go smooth that out. Because I think it looks fine, and it's a small enough detail that I don't really want to get too caught up on it. So I'll just be going back and forth between my other reference that has it in a little bit more clear detail. And this. And I will just try to get the design right here. It's like a flopping downward like this. And I have to remember that I have her tilted a little bit to the side, so the proportions aren't identical. Mine will go a little bit further to the side. Okay, so something like that. Okay, and nope, this needs to be a little bit thicker here. The little hole there is a little bit smaller on the side, a little bit larger on the bottom. Okay, and then it connects a little bit more like that, and this part is very thin. And it comes like straight down like this. I think I just had it a little bit too big over there. It doesn't quite line up with the edge of the ribbon, so that checks out. There we go. Okay. I think this is probably close enough. I am a little bit off, but I think it's okay. I can see why I thought this was a flower instead of a ribbon. does some kind of weird stuff. Okay, I think that is fine. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. And I think I already have that shadowed. Is it shiny? Looks matte. And it looks like there's some writing on it too, but I, for the life of me, cannot read what it is, and it is probably in Japanese. I'll take a look, but yeah, I have no idea, so I'm just gonna add some squiggles and call it good. Where is it exactly? Like right at the tip there. Okay. Looks good to me. So okay, so it looked like the pendant part was mostly matte. I do not see any, like, specular highlights or anything on it, but I do, on the reference that I'm looking at here, I do see a specular highlight on the thing connecting it. So that tells me it is not the same texture. So I'm going to assume that it is just matte, and I don't have to worry about it. And now I'm going to pick a shadow color for the gold. And I think I'm just going to use a light purple with multiply. And the whole thing is just going to be in shadow. There we go. And there we go. That is a finished necklace. And I think that this is a good place to finish for today. So let me go turn my layers back on and we can see how things are looking so far. Oh, that's a cute face. Well, thank you, Tito, and welcome. All right, so I'm happy with how things are turning out. I think she's super adorable. I am looking forward to adding the lighting to this. It's going to be so much fun. So that'll be a great time, and I think I'm moving at a pretty good clip here. That's a finished face, which is always the most time-consuming part. So I think next time I'm going to probably get started on her jacket, and I might do some of the ribbon and stuff, but I think it's going to be mostly jacket. Probably not the back of her jacket, though. I think I want a little bit more of her body finished before I do this part. But at least this part, sleeves. Honestly, looking at it and how much of her body is covered by foreground, I might even do a little bit of work on the foreground before I finish her. I didn't do that with Rooney. I didn't really think I needed to. Part of me thinks maybe I should have, but it's all good. But all right, I think this is where I will stop for today. So very much looking forward to next time. Always am. The last couple of pictures here have been going great. But so thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.